and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah,
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio at westernreserveradio.com on the Live 365 network and the Live 365 app.
Watch every game, every season. It's the place to be in Las Vegas. Soak up the sun and party all night, 365 days a year at Stadium Swim. Secure your spot now at circalasvegas.com.
Join Matt Brown and Mike Somich on Ready, Set, Bet as they get you ready to make your bets for all the weekend games.
Touchdown, baby! George Pickens, we're in! We live! Well, I don't know. We could still lose.
This Colts team is 100% legit, Matt. Well, the offense is 100% legit.
Don't miss out on crucial advice for live betting once the game starts, as well as looking ahead to the upcoming action. Tune in to Ready, Set, Bet, weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the sports betting network.
You're watching Prop Points with the Guru, John Hansen, on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Final segment on this Friday edition of Prop Points here on VSiN. I'm John Hansen. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll pop out a best bet at the very end of the program. It's a lot of deliberating for yours truly to isolate that numero uno one, and we are perfect. We don't want to screw anything up here. 5-0 on the best bets. Now that I've just pumped it up, we'll probably not continue that streak because I shouldn't mention it, but yeah, we are 5-0. No, I'm somewhat kidding. I think we'll do well this week. I feel good about the week. Maybe not as good as last week, but right behind it, we had already popped out two of them that I don't even need to gloss over. Travis Hunter over 35.5. Again, I have 5 different points supporting Hunter. Usually when you can go 5 deep on positive angles, you're in, especially when we only need 36 damn yards. No Brenton Strange, that will help. Calvin Ridley, I know he's been Calvin Diddley, and I was apologizing for him a week ago, but this always happens. Just when I waved the white flag and apologized, dude went off for 100. And this matchup, it could not be better. I don't think it's possible in this year that Calvin Ridley could get a better spot than playing the Raiders, who give up the second most receiving yards per game, third most yards per reception to outside receivers. They're a top 3 pass funnel because their run D is aight. They're a deep funnel, giving up the 8th most yards on deep balls. Calvin Ridley leads the team in ADOT. They use cover 3 at the highest rate. Ridley gets a 13% boost against that shell. Ayamanor, the rookie, gets a 19% decrease. No pressure by the Raiders. I mean, they got Max Crosby, and that's it. Cam Ward's very pressure sensitive. He basically throws for 0 yards when pressured. But when not pressured, it's 5.64, which is a lot more than 0. So those two I feel really good. That's why they're near the top of the list. Next up, I'm going to go with DK Metcalf. I am a DK hater, so it's kind of an endorsement. Browns run the highest rate of cover one. Oddly enough, DK has been bad against man, basically, seeing a 22% reduction to his yards per route run since the start of last year. But in previous years, he was the man against man. Now, maybe that's a sign that he's slowing down here, but I'm confident at the very least that we can get to 53 yards because the Browns are still giving up the 5th most schedule adjusted fantasy points per game to outside wide receivers. They gave up the 3rd most to wideouts aligned on the left side, where he is more often than not. They just traded Greg Newsome. We talked about this matchup a couple of days ago. Well, they traded Greg Newsome, and now it's going to be Tyson Campbell, who I guess is set to start, and he just joined the team. And he's not good. He gives up plenty of production. So, and if it's Denzel Ward, we're good because Ward gives up a very healthy 0.40 fantasy points per route run. I do believe that they will have to lean on Aaron Rodgers and his right arm because this is the nastiest run defense in football. So I don't think the Steelers are going to run. They're going to have to use shorter passes in lieu of the run. DK Metcalf over 52.5 yards. Next up, we'll pop in an under. Breece Hall. We're going to get a little creative here. Under 101.5. Sounds like a radio station coming at you, 101.5. But we'll be under 101.5. Now, he does lead the league in explosive run rate. I actually won this prop last week pretty handily. Didn't totally trust the receiving end, so I'm like, you know what? Let's go with the rushing receiving, and that was an easy win. But Denver gives up the 9th fewest adjusted yards before contact, so it's not the best matchup. They do give up the 6th most receiving yards per game to running backs, so that's great. However, Isaiah Davis led Breece in route share last week, 43 to 35%. Breece also pathetically had 4 yards rushing on 10 carries in one game last year. Dude had 12 touches, and he turned that into 18 total yards. Nasty matchup. They held Saquon Barkley last week to 6 carries for 30, and he did make that big play on the wheel route, but he still didn't get to 101.5, did Barkley last week. So I will do the under there, trying to mix it up, trying to pop in some unders. We're certainly not going under on Jake Ferguson. That is for sure. We'll go over 45.5. I mean, I go up another yard or two. This is minus 125 on Fanatics, so you could probably get better odds for a little higher of a total, but we're stacking up positives here as well. Panthers top 5 pass funnel by pass rate over expectation. Cowboys have the 8th highest pass rate over expectation. Great schematic matchup for Dak Prescott, who targets Jake Ferguson on a team high 40% of the routes against cover 3, which the Panthers use at the 3rd highest rate. Carolina also giving up the 3rd most schedule adjusted fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends. As Jake Tribby mentioned, most receiving yards to the position, 6th most receptions. Darren Waller crushed him, 5 for 78 with a touch last week. Not the greatest schematic matchup for Javonte. So I don't know if they run all over Carolina. And Georgie Pickens going to see a lot of J.C. Horn. So it all adds up to me. Jake Ferguson, a clock. Next up, Spencer Rattler. Let's go back to it. We won this last week, over 16.5. Pats give up only the 15th most schedule adjusted fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks on the ground, but they haven't faced any real running quarterbacks until last week when Josh Allen got him for 9 for 53 on the ground. They use cover 1 at the 9th highest rate. They give up the 4th most fantasy points per drop back on when they're in cover 1. And Rattler's running lately. He's got 4 more rushing attempts in 4 of his last 5 games. Over the last 2 games, he's taken off a lot more. 6 for 21 with an 11-yard run. And then last week, 6 for 49, or the week before that, 6 for 49 with a 15-yard run. Taysom Hill is now here, but he had 6 carries for -1 yard last week. I think Rattler will take off and run a few times and get to 17. We mentioned Hassan Haskins like the touchdown prop. Also love over 33.5 rushing yards for all the reasons I outlined earlier in the show. Next up, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let's go over 69.5 receiving yards, 7+ grabs, 70+ yards in 4 straight. 6th in average separation score at Fantasy Points Data, 9th in win rate. He's balling. Good schematical matchup for sure, based on the coverages. They run the 3rd highest rate at 2 high, and Amon-Ra averages a very fat 3.7 yards per route run against that look. Casey also plays the 13th most man coverage shell out there, and he does very well against that. He is 3rd in fantasy points per route run among 125 qualifying wide receivers against man coverage. 2.5-point underdogs. They have injuries on the defense at corner with Arnold, so they're going to need him. Ashton Genty over 73 rushing yards. Raiders are 4.5-point favorites, and this is all you need to know. Tennessee is allowing the 3rd most schedule adjusted fantasy points per game on the ground, and they greatly miss Devondre Sweat. So they're giving up the 2nd most adjusted yards before contact. That's all Genty needs. And that's what's been the case the last 2 weeks, and he's hit the prop. Quinshon Judkins over 77.5, a little gutsy here. Steelers give up the 11th most rushing yards per game. They allow the 4th highest explosive rate to running backs, and they're not good on man gap concepts, and Genty's great. So that leads us to the best bet. It is brought to you by G-Bank, built with sports bettors in mind. Right now, you can earn $50 cashback reward bonus once you're approved and your account is open with a G-Bank Visa signature card. Most credit card companies treat those sportsbook and gaming transactions as cash advances, even when it's your own money. Regular purchases, though, with G-Bank saving you 3 to 5% on every deposit, and you'll earn 1% cash back on eligible sportsbook and gaming transactions, 2% cash back on everything else you buy. Apply now at vsin.com/gbank, vsin.com/gbank. Money moves with Jonathan Von Tobel at the top of the hour, but the best bet is Rachaad White. Over 20.5 receiving yards. I'll go to 23 or 24. Kyron Williams got him for 8 grabs for 66 last week. 3 games against the Niners. He's caught 5 for 21, 6 for 28, 6 for 31. Niners are giving up the 6th most schedule adjusted fantasy points per game to running backs through the air. They'll need him because no Chris Godwin. Rachaad White, your best bet. You are very welcome. We'll catch you Monday for another edition of Prop Points here on VSiN.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the ad council.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Sherman Gillums Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
For more than 70 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get all the benefits they have earned.
Al Kovac Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
We provide one-on-one support tailored to your individual needs, including healthcare.
Youngstown, Warren, and Salem's local and national sports talk can be found on TuneIn and the Live 365 app at Western Reserve Radio, WRDB, The Scourge.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
Are you ready to hit the gridiron and make your mark? The Cleveland Cobras are recruiting players and coaches for the upcoming Premier Amateur Football League season. We're looking for passion, grit, and the relentless drive to win. Whether you're a seasoned vet or hungry rookie, your shot starts now. Join a brotherhood, build a legacy, strike with the Cobras. Follow us on Facebook at Cleveland Cobras Football, or for league information, visit TAFLfootball.com to get started today. Team Pride Cobras.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Nina's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard, or call 234-254-8532.
It's time to kick back and listen to the Sports Page with your host, Pat Lucia, right here on Western Reserve Radio. You can call the show at 330-707-4202 and tell everyone what's on your mind in the wonderful world of sports. Now, here's your host, Pat Lucia.
Saturday morning Sports Page. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. 330-707-4202. Get in to talk sports. We do it every Saturday morning here, and here is Western Reserve Radio from 9 to 12 today. A lot to talk about. Baseball, for those that couldn't stay up, and I could not stay up. I tried. Seattle beat Detroit in 15 innings, Dave Clark, 3-2, which basically means that Seattle now go ahead and advance to play Toronto, who did away with the New York Yankees 3-1 early, a couple days earlier. So what that means is they will play Sunday. Seattle will be at Toronto, Toronto being the number one seed in the AL. They will host Seattle on Sunday at 8 o'clock on Fox. Tonight, Chicago is taking on Milwaukee at Milwaukee. That's Game 5. And that's on TBS, True TV, and HBO Max for those that have HBO Max. You can watch Chicago at Milwaukee tonight at 8 o'clock. Among all of the college football that is out there. So you've got baseball coming up, and then obviously the winner of the Chicago-Milwaukee will take on the provincial World Series champion, will be the Dodgers, because we know at the end of the day in baseball, the only team I thought maybe could beat the Dodgers could be Philadelphia. And since the Philadelphia Phillies got beat by the Dodgers, I will be shocked if the Dodgers don't win another World Series title back-to-back. I don't see any of the remaining teams giving the Dodgers any kind of competition. Maybe Toronto, from what I've seen, but it looks like the Dodgers will have their second championship. I know a lot of people don't like that because the Dodgers have pretty much bought that team. They buy every free agent out there. Actually, they make the Yankees look like paupers, but baseball needs a salary cap, which the reality is, Dave Clark, we know that will never happen, even though after next year, the owners will fight for one and they won't get one, and there'll probably be a labor outage or a short. There will be no baseball probably for a while since they'll go on strike.
Yeah, well,
because
it's needed because that's why I don't watch it. One of the reasons I don't watch it is no intrigue. It's you know who you can count the teams, you know who's going to be in it, and then you can watch the playoffs when they start just to see what's going to happen. Because things you get an upset, but during the season, what am I worried about? Them guys, it's such a disparity. It's not even funny. So
no, it's not.
I mean, they definitely need it, and I know a lot of people, like you said, didn't like the Dodgers, but I mean, you didn't seen it all around. You didn't see the Yankees do this.
Yep.
You didn't see the Red Sox do it. Have some money, even though they're a smaller market, they still had the money because they're such well known for so many years. So they were able to do that kind of stuff. So I mean, this is what you get. Even the Mets do it. They just always fall apart and can't win it. So, but they spend the money like crazy. So
right, the Mets just put a bad. The thing that the Mets did, their roster construction is horrendous. They spend all the money, but they have holes that they didn't fill.
Yeah.
And you go out and pay superstars big money.
And they have superstars in the same position almost.
Yeah.
And they doubled up in certain positions, but other parts they didn't.
You need the pitching. Relief pitching has not been good. And the Mets basically didn't really have good starting pitching. Their relief pitching was really not that good. They had Lindor, great player. They had Soto, great player. Alonso, great player. And then after that, there's a drop-off. And then there's Nemo, not a bad player. But then you get the drop-off. And then I still think when it comes to baseball,
you have to have pitching.
Got to have the pitching. Yeah. I don't care who you are, what you are. You're going to have the great hitting. The Yankees' problem was against Toronto is that, the Yankees dumped 2 games to Toronto in Toronto. They gave them 2 games, didn't show up and play, I'll be honest. And there are people out there, well, the Yankees can maybe come back and win the series. They pulled the game out, game 3, Judge hit the homer off the pole. Great story. I knew the Yankees weren't going to win that series because Toronto's a better team. And at the end of the day, you can't give the better team 2 games right up front and think you're going to take 3. Yankees just aren't that good a team to take 3 games from Toronto. They couldn't do it all year. That's why they didn't win the division, is they tied with Toronto, but Toronto won the series against the Yankees during the year. So the Yankees lost the division series, had to play Boston, had to come back and beat Boston in the wild card round, which was almost a task. And then game 4, sadly, their bats went silent. Relief pitching, Devin Williams gave out a big hit, and it was a 2-1 game. Devin Williams came in. He's an average reliever at best. I'll be nice. Guys at second and third after Chisholm had that error, second and third. Williams gives up a single, and the game went from 2-1, 4-1, and I knew it was over then because the Yankees just can't score runs. And bottom line was the Yankees' roster construction isn't that great either. Giancarlo Stanton makes a lot of money. He didn't show up this postseason. He played terrible. Judge played great, but then the rest of the lineup couldn't hit. And that's typical what you see in playoff baseball is certain players step up, and then certain players, they just can't hit. Okay. And that's basically, I've seen it time and time again, and go back to many, many years. Whether 1978, the Yankees won a World Series, and I think the World Series co-MVP was a guy called Brian Doyle, who was filling in, I think, at second base for an injury. Maybe Randolph was hurt. And Brian Doyle, who no one even knew of, and probably still to this day don't know who he is, he had a World Series. He was one of the best players in the series, and after that, he disappeared. But the point is, sometimes that's what you need in these World Series or in these playoffs as somebody to come out of nowhere. And you see that time and time again. But the Dodgers, top to bottom, have the best roster. Let's get real here. Get right to the present day. The Dodgers have the best roster. They kind of walk through the regular season kind of sleepwalking because they knew at the end of the day, we'll get in the playoffs. And once we get in the playoffs, we'll turn it on, and this is what you're going to see. So I was kind of rooting for the Phillies because I don't want the Dodgers to win. I don't care who wins. I just don't want the Dodgers to win. And I think what's going to happen is the Dodgers are going to win.
Yeah.
And that's going to be it. So that's kind of that's basically what's going on, at least with baseball. And then I believe obviously once the championship series, we'll get to the World Series. But it looks like Chicago, Milwaukee will play tonight. The winner goes to play the Dodgers. And I believe if Milwaukee wins, then the Milwaukee will have home field, which means nothing. But especially baseball, of all these sports, to me, you talk about home field advantage, home court advantage, basketball, football. Baseball, I mean, the home field almost means nothing.
Right.
I watch these guys play, and it's just like sometimes, if anything, in baseball, I think the home field works against the home team because the fans get tight, they get nervous. I think it kind of goes to the players. They feel the fans tightening up, and they kind of tighten up. And the visiting teams got, they're obviously, if anything, they have an incentive to play.
Yeah.
And they play better than sometimes the home team.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes.
It's weird. It's just that especially like Yankee Stadium, I've seen that where the Yankees aren't really that great a home team. People think so, but I don't think they really are. And I've seen them lose a lot of games at home that you think, well, they're playing at Yankee Stadium. Players are intimidated by Yankee Stadium. I don't really see it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I actually like playing on the road.
Yeah.
When I play, because sometimes you feel a little bit looser when you're on the road. When you play at a visiting stadium, you got them heckling and saying all kinds of stuff, and that is a motivational tool. I mean, maybe not for everybody. I like that, though. He's saying a lot of things, so then you go ahead and you just play looser. When you're at home, you don't want to make too many mistakes or anything, because now the crowd gets crazy, and that same crowd that you waiting to feed off is calling you every name in the book. Get them out of there. So we done heard that before too. So it's weird though how that works. Some teams just, and we see it in every sport, do not play well at home sometimes. But get them on the road, you might have a problem. That's just, it's a weird thing,
This is the way it is.
It works against them sometimes.
Speaking, and one more note on baseball. Tuesday night, we'll see the Dodgers play the winner of the Chicago-Milwaukee game of tonight. So and then Monday night, as we mentioned, Seattle will be at Toronto at 8:00. So I believe all the games, 8:00 Tuesday. So moving forward, all these games will be TBS actually has the National League. Fox has the American League.
Okay.
So you'll see the American League on Fox, and then the National League games will be on TBS and True TV and HBO Max. So that's what you got looking forward. They're up against football. See how they make out. They usually don't do well ratings-wise. It's like the Sunday night game, Seattle at Toronto. It's a cool game, 8:00, but, Sunday night football here, people.
Yeah.
What are you going to watch? Are you going to watch you're going to turn off Lions at Chiefs?
I doubt it.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I doubt it.
Now, I'll probably, knowing what I do, I'll keep one on my tablet. I'll keep the baseball game on my tablet. I can kind of watch it, but I'll be watching Chiefs and Lions.
Yeah.
And speaking of football, let's get to that. Let's look at lot to look at. The Thursday night game, Dave Clark. We got it wrong. What else is wrong? We took the Philly. I took Philadelphia and laid the points because I figured the Giants never play good against Philadelphia, right? Well, I mean,
And when they do it at home, though.
you're right.
Yeah, they do. When they do,
that's right.
They have beat them there.
They have occasionally beat them at home.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think this is more of the Giants being so good or Philadelphia really playing bad? Like, look at, if I'm a Philadelphia fan, I'm a Giant fan, but look, I love Jackson Dart, but he's going to get hurt because Dable's he's going to run. He's going to get hurt. Dable's already in trouble with the concussion protocol for, the NFL is looking into that because Dable is a lunatic. He went into the tent and then he's arguing with the medical doctor there about the concussion. And Dable's got to back off this. He's in trouble. He's going to get in trouble with the NFL because the NFL is really hypersensitive about concussions.
Yeah, that's no joke with that. You can't play around with that.
Can't play with that. And Dable obviously is coaching for his job here, and we'll get to that. But bottom line is, getting back to the Philadelphia. You're Philadelphia. I mean, you played in Philadelphia. You're from New York, like I am, but. You went to college in Philly. You're close. You have ties there.
Right.
You know the Eagles back and forth, inside out.
Yeah,
what is the problem, Dave Clark?
They always do this. Stale. They sleepwalk. That's what I call it. And then they lose continuity. So I think probably 3 quarters they done played good this whole season. They fortunate to win. Because of talent, they got great talent, and then making big plays at big moments. That's it. But if you took it overall, just look at it.
Right.
They probably had 3 or 4. They got 2 losses. They could have 4 because
they could have.
Yeah, I mean they could, but because of their talent, stepping up at certain times, they're able to do it. But this is not something new to me. That's why when people get excited, or I know on one thing I always type in every now and then. I go in this group chat where they talk about they don't like when I come in there and tell them, no, they're not playing well. Oh, look, they wouldn't know. They're terrible because they stagnant on offense. The offense is terrible, and that's because you got some of the line, but they listen too much outside noise sometimes. You got to throw all the time. You got to get the running game so the passing will be even better. The defense has been the big thing, the defense and special teams. But your defense is not going to hold up when your offense is so stagnant, 3 and outs, or turn the ball over, and then here we go, team has. You can't be on defense.
Well,
and I think as far as the Giants, people misjudge them because I never thought they were bad. People say they're bad, and I know you might be hard on them, you're a Giants fan.
Yeah, I am.
But I look at them, I said I never thought they was bad, and I think when their defense was playing okay anyway. Then when they put Dart, Scatterboo, and injected energy to the other guys, and now guys, when your energy level raises, your confidence raises, everything raises, then you start seeing the true talent of some of these other guys come out.
Yes,
and they're playing.
They
better.
Elevate.
So now you see the Eagles playing down, not doing what they should do, and the Giants are playing up, and they're at home with a crowd going crazy. So. That is a good recipe of how you win football games. And the Eagles, people on that chatter, get rid of A.J. Brown. That's the problem. Well, yes, he does want the ball, but any receiver does. And then you look at what he said one time. Now, this is a year ago. You're paying me this money to do what? Calisthenics? They didn't like that.
He's right.
But he's right. He's going out. Just blocking or running around doing a short little route, 2-yard routes, and he gets the ball and then he's tackled, and everybody's saying, "What's wrong with him?" Nothing wrong with him. Throw the ball down the field and get him. Start using them. When you did do that last 2 weeks ago, and you were losing, what happened? How did you come back? Oh, you was throwing A.J. Brown, huh? All of a sudden, you got the passing game. Devontae Smith, 8 catches, 160. So, this is why you got to get things going because the offensive line is so banged up. You don't have the depth that you had the year before, and then you get banged up, and there's a big drop off from the guys they're bringing in from their starters. Big time drop off. So they can't run the football, but sometimes you got to open the running game up by passes. This opposite. Just like you want the running game, now you might have to pass. A